Okay, this is crazy. Let's see. People have been crazy in that whole Sniper stuff, and of course, any article that says anything, people believe no matter what, and it's just crazy how these people believe the cosmic book news, and I genuinely don't understand what's going on with that at all. Hi, I had to change something real quick. So yeah, what I'm saying is these people do not understand how cosmic book news is not reliable at all. So I'm going to say is. So here is a quick search, and plus this is Microsoft Bing. This is not even Google, and they're already saying this. It says, is cosmic book news reliable, or is cosmic book news real or fake? And I'll actually make it even crazier. Is cosmic book news legit? Is cosmic book news credible? Cosmic book news trustworthy? Is cosmic book news legitimate? Matt McGroin, cosmic book news. Cosmic news is garbage. Cosmic book news Snyderverse. Cosmic book news releases. What is cosmic about? So majority of this is asking how credible and legitimate and trustworthy cosmic book news is. And plus, this says cosmic book news Snyderverse, which means people are searching cosmic book news specifically for the Snyderverse stuff. So that is already crazy. And here is another thing: cosmic book news is generally considered an unreliable source, known for publishing the divisive, uh, dubious claims and rumors without credible backing. There you go. Notoriously unreliable, Cosmic Book News has been described as a site that often makes up stories. For instance, a recent rumor about James Gunn's position of DC Studios was labeled as wild and unbelievable, with many in the industry dismissing its baseless. Community per- perception. Discussion on platform like recent. that Cosmic Book News is viewed as lacking credibility, with some users labeling it as alt-right site that cater to specific ideological audiences rather than providing factual reporting. That perception further diminish is reliable as a news source. So what I'm saying is this Cosmic Book News situation is not reliable at all, and we shouldn't really trust Cosmic Book News. Conclusion, given its history and unreliable reporting and the community's skepticism regarding its claims, it is advised to approach information from Cosmic News with caution. For accurate and trustworthy news, it may be better to rely on more established and reputable sources in the comic and entertainment industry. So, here is this news exposed: how comic news rumors and clickbait. And this is Slash Free Talk pointing him out. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of information proving that Cosmic Book News is not reliable in the slightest. So there you go. I don't think they care. They lied to their viewers. Yeah, that's my point. I'm saying that these people don't care about their viewers at all and all that stuff. What is your thoughts on test screening Supergirl being underwhelming? Um, the only like big negative thing people are saying about that is the villain isn't that really interesting, which is understandable, I would say. And however, Marvel villains aren't really that interesting either if you think about it. The villain part of things aren't the main thing of the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies all about the story and how like the characters get together and all that stuff. The only villain I would say was interesting in the MCU was Loki, and Loki is not really a villain anymore. But yeah, I don't think we live in the days people wanna be lied to. I guess can be. This just proves this, and this is from Bing. It's not even from Google, and Bing already knows how like crazy it is. This is Copilot, so yeah. So yeah, that's like the main thing I was talking about. But overall, it's really dumb because recently, Mr. Phenom also talked about another Matt McGloin post. But overall, I think the underwhelming thoughts of the screening stuff. They said that to like a lot of things. I just hope that their thoughts on those screenings aren't gonna skew the movie to be worse, because that's what happened to Superman, sort of. And actually, that's also what happened to the original David Ayer movie, Suicide Squad. And yeah, Superman kind of got ruined a little bit because of the screenings, because I heard the original screening was gonna have titling for like certain days, and I think they should have kept that. But yeah, overall it's kind of crazy. But yeah, well, I don't know. Should Batman and DCU have white eyes? Savs did a poll in it. I I think they should do what Mr. Terrific did, where it's not white eyes until he actually does something to activate it, to actually do something, and then the white eye shows up. Like, for instance, if the white eyes was more like seeing tactical ways to like fight, that would be kind of cool. So like once he does the white eyes and then he starts fighting people, that would be kind of cool. Or like the white eyes could be a way to um, control his the Batmobile. That'd be kind of cool. Like control the Batmobiles with his helmet, with his cowl. Yeah, kind of what Mr. Terrific does. But overall, I think it would be kind of interesting. Reply to your post. But yeah, overall, that's what I think. Detailed to function under his cowl. Yeah, yeah, things that would actually do something over a lot of like the other, So that's my thought on that. But what I want to really oh, one of my books goes into detail how it can work. Yeah. I saw that. One of your books. Yeah. But what I kind of want to try to do I'm not sure. Actually, it keeps going from 3 people to 2 people and stuff. I want to see who would actually be here. See, this right here shows that he's still talking about the whole Snyderverse stuff and all that, which originally he wasn't a Snyderverse YouTuber, but like, of course, I think because of the views that are going up, because these crazy people are really wanting to watch this, it's just crazy to me. I'm just gonna. So yeah, that's fine. Mention who did it, and I can see the video, but I'm not sure. Not sure what's going on with that kind of craziness. And by the way, it's not really, oh, are they hinting at something, because like in the background of the Netflix stuff, it's a whole bunch of movies that they have. So like they're just like showing that they would own those kind of those movies. So it's not a hint. It's just right behind them happens to have the DC stuff. But okay. This video was actually interesting. I watched this live stream. It was pretty cool. This cascading with the Metal Viking, and we did talk before, Metal Viking, me and Metal Viking and I, and that was pretty fun. But yeah, this is. But yeah, this is just crazy. I can hold on. For right now, I'm gonna just hide this because I don't know. So as you can tell, I've been watching a lot of reactions to the trailer, and yeah, these were really interesting. People actually enjoyed watching the trailer, and actually I can watch.
And I suppose we'll find out why in a moment.
Hello, everyone. Female Frodo Baggins here.
Okay.
And can you guess my reaction to the latest Supergirl trailer?
Probably something insane and out of touch with reality, but I'm open to being pleasantly surprised.
I hate everything about this trailer, this concept.
Obviously.
Yeah, I figured as such. She rambles on for quite a bit, so I'm just gonna skip ahead to when, points about the actual trailer are being made.
But in the midst of all of that, my opinion is always that the main problem of why people don't go to movies anymore is the bad movies. We wouldn't be able to be on YouTube and have so many channels cover bad movies. I always say The problem is
Yeah.
bad movies. Bad movies mean less people want to go to the theater.
Okay, but this is a trailer, not a movie. I don't know why so many people on YouTube seem to think that they're time travelers all of a sudden, but when I try to explain why I think a movie is bad, I wait until, the actual movie is out, so I can actually watch the movie, because that's what you're supposed to use to support your claims. Not that I'd expect this person to understand that concept, considering she labeled everyone excited for the movie as bots. I had fun ratioing you on Twitter, by the way.
So let's get into the marketing behind James Gunn's Supergirl. I know that Craig Gillespie, who did do a very good movie with I, Tonya before, I know that he's technically the director of this movie, but make no mistake, this is a James Gunn movie. It is James Gunn through and through, in the same way that all movies that come from Marvel are essentially just Kevin Feige projects. James Gunn is just hiring yes men to make his project.
So we went from it's James Gunn's Supergirl to acknowledging that it's directed by someone else and therefore someone else's vision, to calling it James Gunn's Supergirl anyway. Now, it's still pathetic when people make this claim that this is a James Gunn movie because they didn't bother to check who actually made it, but that's less egregious compared to knowing it's directed by someone else, yet calling it a James Gunn film anyway. How does that make any logical sense? Also, your comparison is wrong. Iron Man is a completely different movie from Winter Soldier. The Avengers is a completely different movie from Guardians of the Galaxy. The directing style of those movies are blatantly different from one another.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige being a producer doesn't mean they're not their own movies.
Let's talk about the marketing behind.
Yeah, I catch it. I catch her sometimes, but yeah, I get you.
Supergirl. Supergirl was already said by James Gunn to be like Guardians. Oh, what a surprise. That's all the guy can ever make.
James Gunn isn't making this movie, and the reason
Not only that James Gunn could make only that kind of movie. Well, Slither was different. Dawn of the Dead was different. Super was kind of different. It was kind of similar to Peacemaker, sort of, but its own thing, sort of. And Lollipop Chainsaw, he co-wrote that right there. Lollipop Chainsaw is different. Yeah. More Jester Bros drama. Yeah, I'm just poking fun at the whole thing, and this is partially why I didn't want to do a live with Jester Bell, because a lot of these things like expose that Jester Bell doesn't know what she's talking about. And she did also do a video about this year's movies are bad, even though like Sinners and stuff came out.
he compared it to Guardians of the Galaxy is because of it being a space adventure. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is not a space adventure. I've only seen Season 1, but Peacemaker Season 1 is not a space adventure. Superman is not a space adventure. Now feel free to tell me if Peacemaker Season 2 or Creature Commandos are space adventures, but I'm inclined to believe that they're not. And by the way, James Gunn didn't invent space adventures. Those kinds of movies have been made for years before his career even started. To add on, even if this
One thing that's very similar to James Gunn stuff is Cowboy Bebop, which came out in the 80s. A space adventure, group of people, misfits, become a family and all that stuff. Cowboy Bebop.
was heavily similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, lacking originality doesn't inherently make it a bad movie. It isn't an inherent issue to be inspired by older works or to reference them in some capacity.
So they put out this poster and this little GIF the other day advertising the teaser trailer, and the poster says truth, justice, whatever. Wow, so edgy, James. You really got that edge there.
It's almost as if
Gunn.
they're using a variation to contrast Superman's character. It establishes that she has less of a grasp on her ideals than Superman does. Are character flaws bad to establish now? Because if she didn't have any character flaws, I'm betting people would go on about how she's a Mary Sue, like when it was popular to do that around the Star Wars sequel era. But when they do establish character flaws, That's just bad, apparently. Now, make no mistake, this is not to say that you can't criticize characters for overly lacking in flaws. I think that's valid to criticize. But to criticize the existence of character flaws is a betrayal of those standards people have claimed to believe in.
Okay, before we get into it, before I go on a rant, okay, this is the problem with the premise of this movie and what we see in the trailer as well. It's advertising itself to being the cynical sister to the Superman movie.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There is no substantive criticism. It's just listing character flaws that she noticed in Supergirl.
Yeah.
Do you know how stories operate? Do you know why they make characters flawed? Don't answer that.
Like, it's supposed to be the answer to altruistic superheroes, that Supergirl is cynical and depressed and she's drinking.
Nobody's saying that's the answer to altruistic superheroes. Depicting a character doesn't mean the movie is saying we should be like that character.
And I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. In the trailer, she says, you know, he believes in the good of people and she believes in the truth, which is all people are just terrible and stuff like that.
That's not the same statement, and I have no clue how you arrived at that conclusion. Just because you don't see the good in everyone doesn't mean you think everyone is bad. Superman may see the good in Lex Luthor, but Supergirl...
Wait, to trash her movies. Yeah, that's true, and like this is why I didn't want to collaborate with her at all, because even though she doesn't like the Snyder stuff, she just constantly bashes on James Gunn constantly, and she doesn't know that movies this year actually were good. She even admits that she doesn't like the whole Sinners idea and everything, and Sinners was like really good. But I don't know.
Girl wouldn't. That doesn't mean she thinks everybody is Lex Luthor. You know, it's interesting how she makes this point about how bad movies are harming cinema, but what about bad reviewing of movies? Couldn't I just as easily argue that your inability to read basic messages is poisoning the perception of what's good or bad? If you're going to hold the standard to movies, why not hold yourself to that same standard? And at the very least, try to understand what the movie is even going for, even if you don't like it. And part of that involves waiting for the movie itself, instead of making baseless assumptions about the marketing.
Here is the problem with that. Here's the problem with the tagline, truth, justice, whatever, is that if we were living in a time where we were getting a lot of altruistic characters, whether it was superheroes or just heroic characters in general, then yeah, it would make sense to do this movie. It would make sense to do a cynical take, a quote-unquote edgier take, at least edgier compared to the movies we've been given. But we never got the altruism first.
The Superman movie is about the value of kindness for everyone, and everything Superman does is driven by altruism. His character arc is centered around the idea that your choices make you who you are, and Superman makes the most altruistic ones in the face of Luthor's cruelty. If we need to step outside of the Superman movie, the most recent Spider-Man movie challenges Miles to choose between saving his dad or the entire world, and he chooses to find a way to save both. The Spider-Man movie before that is focused on Peter giving supervillains second chances instead of sending them to die. The latest Batman movie is about Bruce Wayne.
I don't know why she gives off the looks like, do I have to do this video? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seemed like she doesn't even care about doing the video at all. So that's... But yeah, that's it's just crazy. That's all I have to do on that one. I'm gonna go to... Oh, hi. Hi. Yeah, so sorry I like I tag you in a lot of my posts. I just want to like show how crazy these post stuff go, but yeah, I just want to like either give you content or something, or give you something to laugh about. I usually I don't do too much, I guess, but it's just crazy how these things go. But yeah, I'm just chilling, just watching these craziness. I'm just gonna show you yeah, this one.
Fire and ash. And you know what? I perfectly understand. You know, like you could always have your own opinion, but you're telling me. Actually, first off, I'm going to mention this because it's related to the point. Her fuck ass thumbnail with the most slop of this year. Because the problem with these grifters is all they watch are tentpole films. They
What's the worst take of the DCU? For me, it's Robert Pattinson Batman being the DCU Batman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Robert Pattinson should just be separate and everything. Yeah, I definitely agree. And another really bad take is yeah, that, like I said, yeah, that is another really bad take was that one post saying that Jason Momoa went from Aquaman, the most like well-known hero and everything, to Lobo, like no one cares about and everything. Like that post was like very cringe because not knowing who Lobo is pretty bad, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
only watch the big budget, you know, like Disney, you know, fucking Max films. And I'm like, no shit, you think this year's full of bad movies? Because that's all you watch. Wow, you're telling me Snow White, Lilo and Stitch, and Captain America Brave New World was bad? Really? What a novel concept. You can't tell me you don't want to talk about something like F1, one battle after another, Sinners, but no, we can't talk about those movies because they were good movies. We need to talk about the sludge to make people riled up and angry. Look, guys, look at Disney making this slop. Aren't they so bad? And it's even worse because with these people, they talk about how much, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I just want to like point out the fact that these people just don't. These people just don't understand. You have to watch other movies outside the main big blockbuster movies, you know, the lesser known movies that go to theaters, you know. And I'm gonna but yeah, this is crazy, yeah. Okay, now that I saw this, oh wait, hold on. There we go. So this is one of the posts I shared.
If you guys like this, comment below what you or what you're thinking about the Supergirl trailer.
Yeah.
If you liked it, if you have any kind of expectations, do you think it's going to be better than Superman? Like whatever.
Slight issue with Gunn, and like you coin run with Gunn, but he is good at building characters with no backing by established. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not completely trusting in it is fine, but completely trashing it constantly is pretty bad because James Gunn's writing skills are really good, despite these crazy people that say that he has no talent and all that stuff. He's the copy and paste, whatever. Well, the copy and paste was Dawn of the Dead. Was Dawn of the Dead same? Dawn of the Dead was very different. Super is kind of similar, but like very different, because Super was all about like how it affected the main character mentally, and how like he struggled through like a lot of trauma and everything. Is very pretty similar to Peacemaker, but like at least Peacemaker had people with him and everything. But it's what if superheroes didn't exist, but a person wanted to be a superhero, he wanted to create one and everything. I would say it's similar to some other movies, right? Yeah. I like Dawn of the Dead more than Slither, honestly. That's fair, but I would say where was it? Okay. Edgar Wright. Okay. Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, I have to. I'm not really good at remembering stuff, but Super was very similar to Scott Pilgrim. It was like a person that's a fan of superheroes, comic books, and everything, and he became a superhero himself, and wanted to do some change in the world and stuff. Super was very good, I'd say. I didn't like Slither that much. I liked Dawn of the Dead more than the original film, and that's really good. Like, it's making a modern take on the original Dawn of the Dead, which is really the whole point of remakes, you know.
Whatever it is. Hey,
Yeah.
What were your guys' thoughts on the Supergirl trailer? Was it like James Gunn is so good at this freaking stuff? Like, what did you guys see that you liked?
And then I think
yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, well, this is not a James Gunn directed movie, but it's still under that creative guidance of James Gunn, right? And it's really shown through in those visuals. I think I'm excited. I cannot wait. So the first reaction that I had was really, this feels like a happy medium between James Gunn and Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who's felt that?
Dark,
like, I felt like Superman was maybe a little too different for the Snyder fanboys, and that's why they were piling on it a lot. But when I was watching this trailer, I was just like, I feel like there could be elements of this where both the Snyder fans could really appreciate it, and the James Gunn fans could be like, oh, this is like.
Yeah, but sadly that's not going to happen, because Snyder fans are too close to the past and everything. Because if I was going to be really close to the past, I like Alfred Hitchcock movies and like really classic, slow-paced character studies and everything. But these days that won't happen, and a lot of shots in Alfred Hitchcock is very thought-provoking and like has multiple meanings in the same shot and everything and all that stuff. But sadly those movies won't happen. But I'm looking forward to the future and seeing the more beneficial parts of new movies, and how deep some movies can go, you know, and how fun just popcorn movies can be, just movies that you don't have to think about and everything like that. Superman was more like a popcorn movie, but with a little bit of like thought provoking and thought like emotional parts. But it's a good popcorn movie because that's what it was meant for. It was meant for like kids to enjoy even more than Man of Steel, because Man of Steel was good enough for like the people that liked it. I personally didn't like it, obviously, but for the people that really liked it, it's like thought provoking and sort of character study sort of movie. But little kids, they probably fall asleep, you know, little kids, because there's a lot of reviews, people mentioning that the first time they watched it, they fell asleep because they were very young. And then these days they're a lot older because it's been like 12 years.
We can feel something similar or like familiar. Am I the only one who's felt that?
I didn't get Snyder. No,
I didn't get Snyder, but I also don't care about them. Just because they're weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about Snyder, but I mean, like, it's just like some
cool
things
without
like,
Snyder.
this could go.
I'm cool with Zack Snyder. It's the Snyder fans that I'm like, y'all could just get tossed in the dumpster because y'all weird, bro. Y'all weird. But anyway, it's like anything that's outside his artistic vision is just like, no, it's trash. It's like, no, y'all trash. Anyway,
where were y'all in 2016? You know, like,
right?
Minding my business, like.
I felt I didn't know this was I ain't gonna hold you. I wasn't keeping up with Supergirl at all. The Super Family's not really my bag when it comes to DC.
No.
Y'all know that. But so I wasn't keeping track of none of this stuff. I didn't know.
I really enjoyed when they just kind of bashed on the Snyder fans right there.
Wasn't a James Gunn directed situation. It reminded me of Guardians a little bit, like
that's what I was
Ravagers.
saying, like,
yeah, like it felt like that.
So it was all like,
right. It felt very Ravagery. That makes sense to me.
Indubitably.
Facts. The shot of Jason Momoa as Lobo, I was like, okay.
It was a little too quick. It was
2 seconds.
Yeah,
it was a teaser,
I was
though.
like, oh no.
It's a teaser.
But yeah, no, I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Exactly. He had the little cigar and everything, and I was just all like, man, this is about to be a great movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to pan out. What I really want to see from DC, for real, is the movies outside of the Super Family, because we got Superman, we got Man of Tomorrow, and then we got Supergirl. I want to see how well they do.
You'll definitely, Chris, you just came in here. You definitely would like.
Like, what did you guys see
right here
that you liked?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, well, this is not a James Gunn directed movie, but it's still under that creative guidance of James Gunn, right? And it's really shown through in those visuals. I think I'm excited. I cannot wait. So the first reaction that I had was really, this feels like a happy medium between James Gunn and Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who felt that? Like, I felt like Superman was maybe a little too different for the Snyder fanboys, and that's why they were piling on it a lot. But when I was watching this trailer, I was just like, I feel like there could be elements of this where both the Snyder fans could really appreciate it, and the James Gunn fans could be like, oh, this is like we can feel something similar or familiar. Am I the only one who felt that?
I didn't get Snyder. No,
I didn't get Snyder, but I also don't care about them. Just because they're weird. I didn't get Snyder, but I also don't care about them. Just because they're weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about Snyder, but I mean, like, it's just like some things like this could go.
I'm cool with Zack Snyder. It's the Snyder fans that I'm like, y'all could just get tossed in the dumpster because y'all weird, bro. Y'all weird. But anyway, it's like anything that's outside his artistic vision is just like, no, it's trash.
A little too quick.
For real is the movies outside of the Super Family, because we got Superman, we got Man of Tomorrow, and then we got Supergirl. I want to see how well they do outside of the Super Family.
Like, because everybody's trying to fast track, and I think it's like, I appreciate the fact that they're taking the time to flesh this out, because it means that they're like gonna more than likely take out the time to flesh out other things. So it's like when we do get the actual Bat family, which is what we've all wanted to see forever and a day, like like I feel like it's gonna be more of a fleshed out type of tone, hopefully.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I agree with that because taking this slowly makes it more interesting because you're really close to the characters in that point. Kind of like what Marvel sort of did in the beginning, like making like a few Iron Man movies before like the Avengers, so then you're really, really close to Iron Man. These days, they don't really do that in Marvel because they just do like one movie and then boom, they're in a big fight. You know, these days Marvel doesn't really care about that because they did Captain Marvel, right? And then they just went straight to the Avengers movie. There's not really an in between. And then even after that, they did the Miss Marvels. So people didn't really care about the Captain Marvel movie at all. But if they did another sequel and then they fixed the issues people had with the Captain Marvel movie, I'm pretty sure they could make it better. You know, make her not as crazy, not as like not caring about men kind of situation. Like, if they adjust Captain Marvel's personality and stuff, they're gonna end up liking Captain Marvel. Like make her being arrogant and stuff be a flaw instead of a trait, and make her like build up to being a better person. You know, the first Captain Marvel, oh, she's trash, she's arrogant, she's mean and everything, and then second one, boom, she's better. Kind of like what Zack Snyder tried to do with Superman. When he isn't everything, I read years ago people prefer Iron Man as a starter film than what Man of Steel was starting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and I think building it up was good. That's the praise I get for Marvel. Building up the character in the first phase was better. And fun fact, I think the first phase was not Disney. It was Paramount, and Paramount was the one that started the whole building up the character first. And then once Disney got it, they just didn't care about building the characters up, you know.
If like they have time to like do everything with all this merger crap that's happening, and who might buy it, who might not buy it. We might talk about that on the episode coming up. But
man, listen,
I just hope James Gunn stays for a little longer, but we at least have like a year and a half till James Gunn can leave and stuff. So that's the big thing, right? We still have a good amount. He has a contract till 2027, early 2027, but like early 2027 would be close to when Man of Tomorrow comes out. So yeah, that's that issue. I'm gonna oh yeah, and here is my post on that whole thing. This whole thing right here. I said James Gunn is the blueprint because this right here is from Peacemaker, right here. And this right here is from the Welcome to Derry, the It TV show, HBO Max TV show thing. So this is the thing that I said, oh, the James Gunn's blueprint, because look how similar they are. Like they're even outside in open field. They're both outside open field. Grass is green, and then there's trees in the background and all that stuff. There's two. They're very, very similar. These two right here. So that's the craziness of that. And if you
good evening.
I'm just gonna skip past the reaction because you know the copyright and all that.
62626. I cannot wait. All right, everybody. That was the official teaser trailer finally for Supergirl coming out June 26th, 2026. Like, first of all, great date to pick for that. You know, that's going to be an awesome summer release. It looks like so much fun. I think I need to go back and rewatch that several times. And I know I definitely will when I, you know, go and watch my it popped up at the end who the director and writer was, and I missed it just because I was just kind of in awe. You know, I didn't really know what to expect from this teaser. I only know Lucy Ryder was working off. I've been looking. Just need to bite the bullet and just spend the money and go get that one because I do want to read that before a proper theatrical trailer. Actions for trailers for the Superman movie over. I'm trying to, you know, tamper my expectations. CU that James Gunn is building right now, and I always forget the other guy's name. Sorry, other guy, but I don't know with this whole potential sale of Warner Brothers Discovery to Netflix and everything. I am worried about our universe, you know, kind of being in jeopardy a little bit. I know James Gunn was just renewed through 2027, but I think that could probably change, you know, once this whole thing actually goes through, if it goes through, but probably will. I don't know. I guess my take is, and this is my own personal take, you know, let me know if you disagree, but you know, the Snyderverse is dead, guys.
Snyderverse
is dead. Enjoy it for what it was.
Snyderverse is dead.
I plan to go back and watch it all in its full glory at some point, and I'm going
to prove himself, as I gave Zach, not counting the shows because Snyder didn't do any shows in the DCU. So Gunn officially has 4 films, in my opinion. Yeah, and these 2 other films are not James Gunn, but of course he's gonna executive produce them, so they count a little bit, but they don't completely count. So yeah. When I say that, I mean Snyder directs 3 films while involved in first Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Isn't directing Supergirl, but is involved. Yeah. And Clayface is right after that. So Clayface, and then the Lantern Show, I believe. Unless I think I'm not sure where Clayface stands. Clayface might actually be before Lanterns. I'm not sure because Lanterns might be at the end of the year, but I don't know.
I'm going to do it so on the channel.
It'll just be in between from release.
Want to, I guess, be proven wrong. You know, I enjoyed Man of Steel for what it was. I mentioned this before that I don't think it just didn't feel like Superman to me.
Exactly.
Some of the scenes were really cool. I skipped over Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
So what it is Man of Steel isn't a Superman movie. It's a superhero movie and everything else. Superman might win an Oscar. Good to know. Only the first film in the DCU, and it's already performing above the rest. See, Superman is in the Oscars shortlist for Best Visual Effects, Best Sound. Both Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four First Steps did not make it into the Oscar shortlist. However, Captain America: Brave New World has been shortlisted for Oscar for Best Original Score. So Captain America got getting Best Original Score nomination. Probably a shortlist, but yeah. You just want Superman to actually do this, and if Superman actually wins, that would be interesting. And This is
After a long day of saving the world, it's good to be back in my fortress of solitude. To enjoy.
You can tell they're using the Superman 2025 costume.
Some well-earned peace and quiet.
Sup, Rumi? Who you talking to?
Hi, Kevin. I forgot you lived here.
Hey, like I said when I moved in 3 months ago, pretend I'm not even here. Oh, my mac and cheese!
I'm trying.
I really appreciate it.
That's funny. That's just like, if you watch the whole thing, that's pretty funny right there. And
So I just watched.
No, that's Project C. No, Studio C. It's a sort of a YouTube-based Saturday Night Live sort of thing, but it's a big studio that hires like celebrities too. But it's Studio C that did that.
So I just watched the new Supergirl trailer.
Here's the thing, Kryptonian. You walk away, or I collect.
Which I was already excited for. Millie Alcock, I think is her last name. I hope I'm saying that correctly, because if I'm not, that's incredibly embarrassing. Is probably one of the perfect casts that you can get for.
Yeah. It does remind you of Saturday Night Live, but it's kind of like
a movie like this, especially being based off of the comic that it's being based off of, which I am just now touching and I'm already pretty enamored with. Very happy that Lobo is going to be in it, as well as David Cornsweet, which makes me super excited that this new genre of like superhero movies are going to have their superhero counterparts, and we're not just going to see like the top of their, like everything but the top of their head or anything like that. Like they're not being treated like cameos, but as actual active, elements of this universe. And that makes me very, very happy. Like, why wouldn't he be there? That's our cousin. Yeah. This is obviously prime bait for grift and grifting. I've already seen a video talking about the critical drinkers grift on this and what negative things he must have had to say about it. I don't really give a shit because I can already assume what he must have said about this, seeing the trailer twice myself. And with it being a female-centric movie, it being almost a coming-of-age story, and it's still having those very bright colors that a lot of either really weird Snyder bros or guys like him hate, I can imagine, again, what he must have said. And I think I heard somebody talk about this. Hey, Hero. I think I heard somebody talk about this recently. He's digging in his butt. I think I heard this from another YouTuber, but the age of like grifting is kind of dead now because, I mean, what do you gain from it other than like, I don't know, giving money to people that you hate?
And I'll finish with a quote from my late father.
And no one really wants to see that shit anymore. I know I don't. Like, there was a time where I used to push critical drinkers videos because I liked hate watching. But now I realize all that shit does is make me even more miserable in a time where I'm always fucking miserable. So why the fuck would I do that? Also, that one kid, I think he's from Ireland, who made himself like infinitely unemployable with all of his commentary on comic book media and diversity. And honestly, most of the shit that he says, I can't even repeat.
Before we get into this pile of dog crap, I'd like to thank the Midnight Drop for sending a massive amount of people over to my channel with his insane mental breakdowns.
Like, it's so weird how, like, people who just hate certain things, you just slap the label woke into it.
I'm retarded? Thanks, bro. It's always cool to see some support from the disabled community. When you say I'm scared of black people, newsflash, you illiterate troglodyte. Everybody is.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away.
You can't stop looting and burning countries to the ground. Next time you're driving to work and you're enjoying your Marxist Batman comic, try not to get robbed or shot by your fellow brothers. To create an argument, you actually have to make some valid points. You can't just dance around throwing your arms up in the air, making weird noises like you did. It makes you look like a Neanderthal who hasn't picked up a comic except Watchmen in his entire life. Stay in your own lane and go back to anime.
It's me while editing. I'm in my Shrew Farms bed and breakfast shirt that I got in like 2017. And I just wanted to point out that while recording, I saw this.
An absolute Batman, I think we can all agree that Scott Snyder can't really write comic books, correct? And this is a fact, proven with every single page of this garbage. There's an abundance of absolutely insane creative decisions happening here. Who, in their right mind, greenlit Alfred's look? What is the haircut? What is the beard? Why is he an MI6 mercenary with like grenade launchers and sniper rifles? This is straight up cringe, I'm sorry.
You this mad that they race bending niggas in this, that Barbara Gordon is black now. You this mad that you forget the most basic of information. Now, you can say whatever the fuck you want about the design. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But the one thing that everybody knows about Alfred is that he told Poe, and you forget that? You're that mad that it's coming from a black mouth that you're that tight right now that you forgot the most basic of fucking siblings. Like, nigga, I've been knowing this shit since I was like 12. What? I don't know. Anyways, back to this guy. But this is prime grifter bait, like prime, right-wing grifter. I hate women. I've never touched one, that type of shit. People who are still on that old Andrew Tate shit, which happened forever ago. So I don't even know how fucking old you are. And it's boring. I don't want to get into all of that. I guess the major thing about this is that I loved the trailer. The trailer was an amazing representation of what the movie is about to be without spoiling any of the good parts. I know a lot of trailers have a huge habit of showing us all of the good parts. So by the time that we get to the movie itself, it's like, oh, I saw this shit before, and the rest is just dog shit. So from what I've seen from the trailer, I'm seeing a lot of filler moments as well as like a couple pivotal moments. But from the amount of pivotal moments I'm seeing in the trailer, I know that this is going to be a banger. And I hope I'm not eating my words when I say that. But I know for certain that this Supergirl movie and obviously Man of Tomorrow, that Superman movie that's coming out in, 2026, 2027, that's probably going to be amazing. And I am just looking forward to everything that James Gunn is putting out so far. I hope he doesn't overwork himself. I'm not quite sure. Having one person be the head of an entire production team, as well as just cinematic universe, is very conducive for mental health. So hopefully he doesn't burn out his own creativity while doing this, because I feel like he spread himself thin a little bit with Creature Commandos, as much as I love that. But yeah, let's hope. And honestly, I am hoping, if not, am almost.
Yeah, so that video exposed it. So yeah, I like to promote seeing this right here. Who understands Superman more is clearly funny because James Gunn is winning from this guy. The Film Junkie is a big Zack Snyder fan, and even in his channel, James Gunn is winning. So yeah.
Taking us out one. There was nothing. No heroes, no villains, no gods, no monsters, no multiverse. Then, one character changed everything. One character inspired a whole genre, a whole industry returned. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm E-Rod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and welcome back to December. Now, on the last video, I talked about how nobody can agree when exactly the new DCU begins. But what if I told you that had everything gone to plan, that it was actually supposed to begin with a Superman movie? Way back when Disney fired James Gunn for tweets and he jumped over to Warner Brothers, the very first franchise that they offered him was Superman. But he turned it down because what they wanted was a pseudo sequel or a light reboot of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel movie. And
what do you mean, is this Saturday Night Live? Oh yeah, that was your previous thing.
James Gunn didn't feel comfortable meddling with somebody else's franchise, let alone somebody who was a close personal friend. So he went with Suicide Squad instead, as that franchise has a rotating cast, and he could bring in his own cast of characters and do his own thing, while still is the foundation of the DC universe. Originally titled Superman Legacy, Gunn and Safran had every intention of auditioning directors to helm the project. But then, just like that, James Gunn came up with the entire story for the movie on his own, inspired by his terrible experience with Disney. So after much delay, has never been a movie with that title. And I know what you're thinking, what about 3 years after Superman became a public figure, his popularity begins to wane.
Yeah, that's a good review of a Superman movie. And here's another thing, and this is pretty annoying because this guy constantly said that I was losing the argument and all that stuff. Whereas this whole video right here, I just destroyed him. It's like, this is literally based on the comic Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. She is drunk, depressed woman trying to live life with the scar memory of her planet from being destroyed. This comic is liked even for people who hate Tom King. Voice sounds AI, so nice. I guess you're destroying the planet. So, don't care about the environment. She isn't undermining Superman when saying she sees the good in everyone. He sees the good in everyone. I see the truth. That's not undermine. Like, the whole thing was, this video was saying, oh, you're making fun of Superman by saying she sees the good in everyone and I see the truth. Well, the whole thing is she's not undermining him. She's just saying his perspective versus her perspective. She's comparing her to him. That whole idea. So that's the whole craziness of all that, you know. It's very, see, this is very toxic. People can like who they like. People like Snyder, people like Gunn, and that is fine. Exposed Gunn thinks this is paid shills and gun bots. This. Exposing the people that like James Gunn, pretty much. Here's the thing right here. Yeah, just not make it fair and pretend it's black and white with no gray area. This is the whole thing right here. And I commented saying, yeah, forget about less people go to theaters in general. Let's forget about tickets being more expensive, making a harder decision to even buy a ticket in the first place. Let's forget that studios don't put it in theaters as long as it was before. Let's just pretend everything was fair and even all across the board. See, that's my whole idea, is like, it's not black and white how many tickets were sold, you know, like. See, all these posts right here, I just want to show, because, man, it's like, since everyone that liked the trailer are shills, then complete strangers are shills now. See, he showed the trailer to complete strangers, and complete strangers, they don't care. They're gonna say all this stuff, and yeah. I'm kind of I kind of don't like the fact that I'm kind of in the middle of the fact that if I should share these videos I disagree with, because that's still giving them views and stuff, but I want to give people the full context of what it is, because look, Superman wasn't the #1 in IMDb, and this person just says that, oh, IMDb is a BS. They don't know what they're saying and all that stuff, which is weird. How crazy people can be. And I expose this one. It's like, no, don't be stupid and ignorant. You're very sick. You're a very sick individual. You have failed in life. Restore the Snyderverse. And I say, you're insulting me like this, and you say I have mental issues. I am being fair and not calling all Snyder fans toxic. See, this is the thing. I said I'm not calling every Snyder fan toxic right here. He says Snyder fans are not toxic. That is an extremely stupid thing to say. That only weak-brained sheep will repeat. Cut the crap and get a life. I'm talking about the toxic ones. I know most Snyder fans are not toxic. I'm talking about the ones that threaten to sue me, the ones that review bomb a movie a year before it comes out, aka Godzilla vs. Kong. I am talking about the ones that attack fans for different opinions. I'm talking about the ones that cancel a charity for self-deletion because the guy doesn't like the toxic fans. No, I say that. Yeah, I say more. Yeah, so sorry, I have to point out the craziness. The Superman Legacy was a more proper title, honestly. Yeah, but I could also say that just calling it Superman just makes it like, oh, you want to watch Superman, you know. Make a quick kind of thing. It really just depends. But overall, this is pretty fun. I'm just gonna do this live. Just post live, letting these people know, I guess. But yeah, I agree. I'm kind of neutral about it because here's my live streams. I'm gonna click on. I can see this
movie. Like it's too bright. Like
the movie, right? Because what you need to bring it back a little bit, or you're not doing enough. You need to put a little bit more in there. You feel me? Something that he's done up to date.
This is
Go is funny.
proof that I wasn't like
that comic book
crazy.
Doesn't always translate.
Yeah, so like this whole that whole conversation was pretty interesting, I would say. And oh, actually.
So that whole GoFundMe was to add the hashtags on it, and the hashtags were like really small, you know, and then their podcast name is like huge. So people that really wanted the hashtag to show up, like, kind of got screwed over.
Yeah, I saw a video where the Lethal Geeks, I think, were screaming hashtag Henry Cavill in public. Like, what? Why are you screaming hashtag Henry Cavill?
Yeah, and then Skywalker thing had the whole billboard.
This is the funny guy. I'm gonna actually. Just adding them because before I initially didn't have that, so I'm just gonna add that to that so it's completely fair to do. There you go. Give him more credit. Yeah. Here was my first. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so like that. See, I just I don't know, like only made a video on Aaron because it was in response to a video he did about me first. He made 3 more after doxing me. Someone else's phone number and someone else's phone number and has the nerve to claim he does know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And to me, my whole thing was I questioned that whole GoFundMe. And to me, if you're mad about me questioning the GoFundMe, that's questionable because all I did was you should show proof about stuff to figure stuff out, you know? Yeah, see, look, I just realized that. So the gameplay actually. Yeah, so like this was a fun moment. So I didn't realize there was like no audio, but like watching it, like you could see that like it was pretty fun. I played as Aquaman, you know. See. Yeah, I share the whole thing. Yeah, like this was just a fun time overall. It's, like I remember just live streaming the gameplay of this right here. You couldn't be that, man. Yeah, yeah. It was a funny situation. Yeah. No, well, no, but I very much like what he thinks about this. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But yeah, but overall, this is pretty interesting how everything's going on and everything has worked out. Anyone that's live right now, no, in my live stream right now, say hi. I see there's like, it says possibly there's 5 people. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but yeah. So what's going on? Yo, yeah. Have you noticed something? I made you a moderator in case, of course, I get bigger and bigger. You know, like you've been pretty consistent. You've been in my live stream a few times, I would say, and also you were in some of my, you were commenting a few videos and posts and stuff. So I made you a moderator. So yeah. All you really need to do as moderator is go to each comment, go. Yeah. This is, it's a good thing, I guess. Hey subject. Oh yeah, hey subject. Yeah. If he's been around my channel a few times, so respect that. Hey critic. Yeah, critic Chris. Yeah. And so pretty much what you really do is check on everyone, see if they're being toxic or not and everything, and you can go to each comment, click on those 3 buttons and saying, like, you can time people out and stuff, and delete comments, time people out to make sure like they can't comment for a while, and you can choose how long they should be timed out and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how it works. And yeah, so you can control chat for a while to make sure it's not too crazy. But of course, if I mention to just leave them there because I could respond to them, you can just leave them there for a while until they go a little too far, of course, because I do want to respond to the pretty bad comments. But of course, if they go too crazy, that's one thing. Yeah, people are crazy. Yeah, so like this is a good way to do that, and in case people find things, and overall, I've been showing people my past stuff, and I kind of missed this game. They canceled Multiverses too fast, and yeah, this was pretty good. But yeah. Yeah, drop. Like, see, this was the thing right here, and I've been doing some online matches right here. It was pretty good overall. And
any weird excuses, but
I was a Bugs Bunny main.
Weird. Like,
nothing much. I did talk about my previous posts, like how a pretty pretty crazy people could get overall. I'll just show what I kind of liked. Okay, I just realized I haven't shared the actual screen of that, so I'm gonna click on that. So I just realized I haven't shared this. Top 5 MCU movie. First Captain America. This is not in a specific order. First Captain America, Guardians 3, yeah, I know this is not a straight up MCU movie, but the Incredible Hulk technically counts, and first Iron Man was pretty good. And Thor Ragnarok. Right? Yeah, I think Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, I like Incredibles. Yeah, and I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, well, this is not a creative visuals. I think really this feels like a happy medium between James Gunn and Snyderverse. Am I the only one who felt that? Like I felt like for the Snyder fanboys, and that's why they were piling on it a lot. But when I was watching this trailer, I was just like, I feel like there could be elements of this where both the Snyder fans could really appreciate it, and the James Gunn fans could be like, oh, this is like we can feel something similar or familiar. Am I the only one who felt that?
I didn't get Snyder. No.
I didn't get Snyder, but I also don't care about them. Just because they're weird.
I don't care about Snyder, but I mean, like, it's just like something else. Like, this could go.
I'm cool with Zack Snyder. It's the Snyder fans that I'm like, y'all could just get tossed in the dumpster because y'all weird, bro. Y'all weird. But anyway, it's like
see, like that's what I kind of liked. Like how like for me Thor. Yeah. But you can agree that the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogies was really good, you know. And because of the whole copyright stuff, I edit down the whole the other live stream. And I posted an actual video, so I edited it down a little bit because the stupid copyright stuff. And this is the post that I kind of enjoy because this is like, you know, the whole Zack Snyder's The Blueprint. I did this right here, and this is Welcome to Derry, the It TV show, and this is Peacemaker. So it's like James Gunn is the blueprint. So that was kind of worst movies. It's really difficult for me because any really bad movie I sometimes enjoy because it's so bad. But I would say BVS I really dislike. So I would say BVS, but I get why people like it, but BVS was pretty bad. But I would also say Birdemic was pretty bad, but I enjoy it because it's so bad. I'll say some of the Golden films, the Golden Films movies, some of them. I would say worst MCU. Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, no, the Marvels, Ant-Man 3. Not sure what else. I would say some of the Thor movies, the original other Thor movies, old Thor movies. I'll say Thor: Love and Thunder, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty crazy overall. I did subscribe to your channel, by the way, but I see that you're like kind of a new channel, so you growing your channel would be pretty good, and it would be pretty fun to actually collab with you just to grow everyone up a bit, you know, and you see my channel right here. Right now I have 385 subscribers, 1.2 thousand videos, so quite a bit of videos. That's a good choice, and to me, Black Widow should have came out phase 1, because that Black Widow was an origin movie, and having an origin movie be in the beginning makes more sense than anything really. So Black Widow should have been in phase 1. It is, yeah, it is kind of sad to see that BlueTube fell for the whole Critical Drinker stuff. But Critical Drinker is pretty bad, because he's definitely a total grift guy. But yeah, Critical Drinker is pretty bad. Here is his yeah. 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 So yeah, this is
all Kara, we saw
crazy.
Ruthie, and now, folks, we've reached that getting fed information, details when it comes to the movie, just like we did with Superman, just like we did with some of the other ones too. But
yeah,
again, all eyes on the DCU, because the discourse is out there, and I mean, this is one of those things where, again, you know, the people who want the DCU to end, James Gunn to end, if they wanted it to end, they just wouldn't talk about it. But the fact that they talk about it every fucking day, I mean, positive and negative.
Oh, okay. I believe it was one of the might have been one of the Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire one. I really don't remember. It was so long ago. But yeah.
If it doesn't matter, long as it's trending, long as the word's up there, long as it's keeping up trending, you are actually actively helping these movies. I mean, it's part of it. It's part of the analytics that they look at, and that's what these guys don't realize is you know, I mean, I don't know how many times these guys were telling me that as soon as Fantastic Four comes out, nobody's going to be talking about Superman. Guess what? Nobody's really talking about it anymore.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Like you're an adult and you should do what you want to do and everything. Yeah, that's a very good point. First, I want to say thank you for checking my Swan channel. Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
You know this. Yeah, you know. So yeah, we got Boba Talks. We got some other people that were mentioning this screening that was happening.
Yeah.
So a little bit of details right here. Give it a little bit of details because obviously we saw the trailer. We saw what the tone kind of was. We saw maybe where where everything was headed. We saw Lobo. We saw Krem. Of course, we saw Kara. We saw Ruthie. And now we're just kind of curious of like how it's all going to be together. And well, I think from this reaction I'm seeing right here, this sounds about right. So overall, what he heard, this person really loved Superman and liked Supergirl. 7 out of 10 in the current state. Positives, Amelia Alcock and Jason Momoa as Loba are great. The emotion hit. Negatives, not a fan of how much darkness was used in the cinematography. So they might have to brighten up that color palette. Krem described as a generic, undeveloped character. I had a feeling they were going to mess up Krem. I just had this feeling. Anybody who's been positive about the Supergirl trailer has said, yeah, but Krem, why the fuck did they do that with Krem? Because you had an actor that could look like the Krem in the Woman of Tomorrow book, but you decided to go a different direction. Really weird choice. I don't know why they went with that choice, but hey, it happens. Somebody even described Jason Momoa's Lobo as having kind of like a Captain America, Civil War, Spider-Man type of presence kind of thing, which kind of makes sense because I was going, yeah, he's probably in one scene, maybe two, but it seems like, yeah, it's pretty much how Spider-Man was in Civil War, which I'm going, okay, that kind of works. But then there's also people saying that Lobo probably should be the villain because Krem is just not.
My grandmother says the same, that she's like, the boy is 18, let him drive. Let him do the YouTube stream and crap. Yeah, that's crazy. Like your grandmother wanting to let you do stuff. Yeah, that's that's crazy. And yeah, I'm gonna actually share this one.
Why I left Marvel for DC. Looks like it's going to be a fun video, guys. I can't wait to find out because although I'm not necessarily a DC guy, my guy is. So let's check it out.
I grew up a Marvel kid. Spider-Man,
I understand.
X-Men, the Fantastic Four.
Okay, I think this guy probably grew up around a similar generation to me because
damn,
those were my.
He's one of the Snyder people. This is gonna be crazy because I don't think Kryptonite Corner knows this person. I just realized that this guy yeah.
My shows, man.
Incredible Hulk. Those were my heroes. Probably because those were the comic book movies I watched when I was a kid. I was never really a DC fan. Sure, I knew about Justice League Unlimited, but Marvel was my thing. I was a full-on fanboy.
I get it, man. Those X-Men cartoons, I used to love those things, watching them whenever they would come out back in the 90s. He looks like he might be a little younger than me, but I used to watch those. I watched Spider-Man. I loved Spider-Man for a while. Superman was always my main number one. from the time I was about 2 or 3 years old.
And then Christopher Nolan happened.
Yeah, he did turn some heads. I remember when those movies were coming out, people would tell me they were big Marvel people. I'd be like, really? You like Marvel a bunch? They're like, well, I like Batman, but otherwise I'm Marvel. You know, I mean, Christopher Nolan, he did do that.
Watchful protector.
Running a channel or simply commenting people welcome to threaten you with lawsuits, harassment. Yeah, that's a good advice. Yeah, I got threatened by lawsuits and stuff, and Tybo Skyberg doxed me, my actual full name, even though some people say, oh, that's not doxing, that's just your name. It's like putting your actual full name, that is doxing. That's personal information and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. And this Demi guy is the Snyder person, but I don't think this reactor knows. But yeah.
Do you think that Christopher Nolan had that much of an impact, or am I being crazy? Did Tim Burton do it first? Let me know in the comments. I'm not really sure. What? The turning point.
The Dark Knight trilogy changed something in me. It was the first time I saw a superhero movie treated with gravitas. The gritty and grounded take on superhero movies, the philosophical conflict between Batman and the Joker. After that, I couldn't go back to Marvel. Nolan instantly became...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the person he's reacting to is straight up a Snyder fan, like one of the actual toxic ones that like make fun of other people. Dying Dumb, do you think realistic Batman is in movies ruin Batman from being fantastic? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Christopher Nolan sort of ruined it, but like he did a good job, and like I like his movies, and like I understand the fandom of that, but people that only stick with Christopher Nolan, that's the issue. The issue is people that only want his style, that only want that kind of thing, versus me, I want a diverse amount of like DC stuff, like positive, like realistic, really fictional, and all that stuff. So to me, Nolan kind of messed it up for people that just want a focused kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Nolan one, the Nolan movies messed up this Demi guy, the Demi YouTuber.
I get it.
Favorite director. Then came Man of Steel. This movie.
I want to hear what he's got to say, because I like Man of Steel. I like the new Superman movie. But neither one of them are a 9 or a 10 for me, okay? And it seems like most people, if it's a 9 or a 10 on Man of Steel, it's like a 6 or a 7 on Superman, and vice versa. Or that like if they're a 10, it's like garbage. You know what I mean? But me, I think they're both good, but they both have their flaws. They both deviate. They both don't get exactly what I would want out of a Superman movie. But I'm curious to see what it is that made him turn to DC because of this,
And I remember it like it was yesterday.
It made a lot of people hate it.
I was 14, and my parents went out on a trip.
Oh, 14. I think I was at least a decade older than that.
Playing Lover Boy and Lover Girl.
Yeah.
And my...
Yeah, this comes from the guy who has the hard trilogy on DVD. Yeah. If you other characters like, yeah.
My brother brought home the DVD for Man of Steel. We watched it together with our sister, and we loved it. Man of Steel was such a big deal. My brother and his peers weren't even comic nerds.
Yeah, I'm a lot older than this guy. DVD. I watched this. I took off a day of work after college to watch that movie in the theaters. My boss is like, "You're taking off a day of work for Superman?" I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't care.
But when that first suit reveal dropped, even he said it as his phone background image. High school guys who practically never read comics were suddenly hyped for Superman again.
Follow me on other platforms. You guys can find me on Wattpad. You can read. Okay, that's fine.
So, do you think that the reason a lot of people, where his turning point is, do you think that they don't like the goofy Marvel style? Because those cartoons he was explaining, like the X-Men, for example, those weren't all goofy and stuff. Now, the Spider-Man movie kind of was a little more goofy, but more so in a cringy way because it was like Spider-Man's funny, but Tobey Maguire's not. You know, so I don't know.
Not long after, Batman vs. Superman released. And this was my most anticipated superhero movie of all time. I had already watched The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2.
I was ticked off we didn't get Man of Steel 2. That's what I was upset about. I was like, but it was supposed to be Man of Steel 2. Then they changed it on us. You know, they put Batman in there and it was like, no, because there were so many problems in Man of Steel. I wanted to see them get resolved, you know, like maybe he talks about how, you know, he didn't like killing somebody. He doesn't want to kill anymore. Maybe it shows us, you know, like saving montage his movies, you know.
Directed by Jay Oliva. So seeing the same older Battle-worn Batman on the big screen was surreal. And by the big screen, I mean on DVD. I didn't start going to the theaters regularly until I was like 18. But I digress. Zack Snyder delivered exactly what I wanted. This was the movie that cemented him as my favorite director. The more I looked into his work, the more it spoke to me. His love for the artwork of Alex Ross, his reverence for Alan Moore and Frank Miller, the exaggerated physiques, the religious imagery.
Yeah, Zach had said that he prefers the
see, like this proves that
put it there,
this
which
guy's
I don't know that I like the exaggerated physiques the most. I like him to be a Superman. You know, he's muscular, but he's not like Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Coleman or whatever you kids are saying.
It was everything I wanted from DC. Mythic, operatic, powerful.
Blue phony?
Yeah.
It's Charlie Brown.
Yeah, that's not a problem. It seems like Ultimate Joker wants to share his thoughts with you.
Well, thank you very much, Dami. And here's the thing. Dami's not alone in this journey. I had the exact same experiences around the same age. I was all in on Marvel as a kid. The Raimi Spider-Man movies, the Fox X-Men films. I even watched the first Avengers multiple times. But then...
that first Avengers was good.
Something changed around 2013, 2014, when I was around 14 years old. I grew up.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
I want to claw my way up to middle management, be replaced on a whim. I want to have a brown nose.
I want to be a yes man.
And that's when DC grabbed me and I never let go. But here's what hooked me first, and you need to hear this. It wasn't even the movies at first. It was the games. Batman Arkham Origins dropped, and that story hit different.
Batman Arkham Asylum, when that game came out, it turned some heads. I remember, and I also got the VR Batman Arkham Shadow. It was just like what I remembered when I first played Batman Arkham Asylum for the first time. It was
the themes of fate that were also from that book. I've never experienced anything like that in a superhero video game ever. I looked up the Killing Joke comic because of that game. I read it and loved it. I drew art inspired by it, even named my Xbox 360 gamer tag Ultimate Joker. I spelled it wrong because I didn't want to throw numbers in it due to the correct spelling being taken. But anyway, that game had a multiplayer mode that people slept on where you could play as the Joker. That's where the name really stuck. But that was just the beginning, because what
night. Classics like Mask of the Phantasm, Under the Red Hood.
The Superman animated series from the 90s. Loved.
Let's not forget DC animation. Classics like Mask of the Phantasm, Under the Red Hood.
The Superman animated series from the 90s. Loved it. It was fantastic. See, I was watching that.
See, it's funny because he's not mentioning the Superman animated series. Dammy doesn't care about Superman that much.
Around the same time I was watching X-Men and Spider-Man. Those things all came out in the 90s.
Or the animated DC universe started by Jay Oliva himself. They are all masterpieces in their own right. The reality is, DC is better than Marvel in every category, except having a cohesive cinematic universe. The highest highs belong to DC. The best comic book movies, DC. The best comic storylines, canon or non-canon, DC. The best animated shows and films, DC. Even video games.
I noticed
from Arkham.
Did he mention comics? I can't remember. You know, comics is where it all comes from.
Injustice, DC dominates that. But to be fair, Marvel have been dropping some banger games recently. But all that strength and identity in the DC brand has been diluted by an attempt to Marvelize DC. We've had Marvel directors and writers like Bryan Singer, Joss Whedon, and James Gunn, all trying to force that same tone onto a brand that was never meant to be quippy and self-aware.
See, I don't know if I agree with that take that they're forcing a tone that was never meant to be. I mean, both comics have been gritty and funny. Both comics have had their dark moments and their bright
directors and writers like Bryan Singer, Joss Whedon, and James Gunn, all trying to force that same tone onto a brand that was never meant to be quippy and self-aware.
See, I don't know if I agree with that take that they're forcing a tone that was never meant to be. I mean, both comics have been gritty and funny. Both comics have had their dark moments and their bright moments. There was a day when Superman smiled on almost every page,
Yeah, I even agree with this too. Batman Begins was far better than The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returns or something, right? Dark Knight Rises or something like that, right? Yeah.
And then there were ones written where he didn't smile at all. I mean, it's the writer, and the writers are always flip-flopping. Same as the movies from, DC to Marvel and Marvel to DC. This has always happened. I think people just get caught up in, I liked this and saw this first, so that's what I want to be the definitive my version.
We already have Marvel. Why are you trying to turn DC into Marvel 2.0?
And here's what's crazy about that.
See, that bias is completely showing.
Marvel devolve into joke fest popcorn flicks. Sure, the first Avengers was fun, but then every Marvel movie became the same quippy nonsense with a few exceptions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
It's like the Captain America films. So I jumped ship entirely because DC was doing something Marvel refused to.
Any of y'all have that same experience if you jumped ship because of the quippiness of Marvel? Because, I mean, DC definitely had the grittiness down. They definitely did. But I, as a DC fan, got sick of the grittiness and wanted to see a little humor. That's why I think I enjoyed James Gunn's. I actually thought James Gunn's Superman, this is a hot take. Nobody agrees with me. I thought it should have been funnier. I really do. I felt like it wasn't funny enough. James Gunn said, nobody agrees with me.
Dude, treating these characters like they mattered. When Zack Snyder came along, he elevated everything I already loved about DC. He pulled directly from the Dark Knight Returns comic with lines, scenes, themes, all the stuff that made the comic legendary. And he understood something that the media illiterate bandwagon bots couldn't grasp. These stories are about more than just punching bad guys, but here's what they really miss.
Guys, don't forget this is a brand new superhero reaction channel. If you are liking my reactions, go ahead and subscribe. I have channels that are not reaction channels, but I started this one because I separated them because people like them and they wanted to continue seeing them when I stopped doing them. So there's too much about that.
Snyder's Batman wasn't just dark and gritty for shock value. It was about a man who tried to save the world, only to watch nothing change. So he became angrier, more brutal. He started losing himself to the darkness. And then Superman, through his kindness, through his sacrifice, pulled Batman back from the edge before he fell too far into the abyss. That's some gourmet storytelling. That's the kind of depth emotionally mature people who actually grew up can appreciate. But the vocal minority of man-children have forced DC into becoming the DCU instead. And what happened? James Gunn's Superman movie lost half the audience Man of Steel had.
Every time DC moves away from its darker mythic roots, whether it's a shift from the Justice League Dark Universe to the mediocre Tomorrowverse, or from the Snyderverse to the current DCU, audiences stop caring. Nobody genuinely loves this new direction. You only have grifters chasing engagement.
Do you agree with that? Especially on that grifter chasing engagement part.
Haters farming rage bait for clicks, but almost no one actually loves these new projects. The current DC brand has lost its soul.
I liked Flash. I thought it looked bad, and I know people hate Ezra Miller, but I liked Flash. I thought it was fun.
And I don't say that with anger. I don't hate DC. I hate what's happening to DC.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun,
this is getting used so much lately, guys,
or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Bro, same here. I just love thinking about the heavy, meaningful themes in those older DC movies. YouTube creators like Damian Resican make me realize that there's a deep minority of people, maybe even a majority, who think the way I do. But thinking is one thing. Making a story about it, whether it's a book, show, movie, or game, that takes some serious skill. That's why I've dedicated most of my channel to appreciating creators like Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and Todd Phillips. Basically the cool kids table of DC.
So I think it's pretty clear that they're not on board with the James Gunn takes. I think it's pretty clear.
My trilogy and the beginning of the DCEU, there was genuine excitement back then. People actually cared.
What? That's true. What?
It's way too loud.
Now it feels like a fandom full of bot accounts, fake engagements, and people who hate Snyder and his fans more than they love DC. Fortunately, there are still authentic voices and like-minded people out there. It was a pleasure working with Ultimate Joker in this video, so you should definitely go check out his channel.
You know, I really love what...
So he's saying that people that like James Gunn is not genuine, real fans, and that are bad and... What?
That's all I have to say here, and I'm honored to be here to throw in my own personal story that is fairly parallel to his.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and celebrate the DC that I fell in love with. I'm going to rewatch and review the classics, the movies that made this brand legendary.
Let me know if I should check out his re-reviews of these
I'm going
things.
to focus more on what I love about DC than what I hate about it. And after the inevitable failure of the DCU, the real DC brand can rise again. It deserves better. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Were you also a Marvel fan that became a DC fan? Or were you a DC fan your whole life? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I'm more of a Superman guy, as you can tell. Guys, remember this is a brand new superhero reaction channel. I might do some other reactions you guys want me to. Let me know if I should.
Yeah, see that inevitable DCU failure. Like they're not hiding it. They're clearly complete bias.
All right. What's up, everybody? Happy day, because I am uploading today. Here we are.
So, that's pretty much the craziness I have. That whole idea. So of course, I think the crowd was loud at Endgame. Yeah, this one. I really hope the DCU Brave and the Bold focus on Batman and his role as a father rather than Damian. I think they can balance it out, really, because if they make Damian a little more well known and show Damian's whole story, I think more people are going to be fans of Damian because to me, I think Damian's story is almost never told ever. No one really talks about how Damian, how tragic his story is and how crazy, depressing his backstory and how he became like mentally like crazy, and how he kills a lot of people. His body count is like almost, you can't count how many people he actually killed, and that makes a good story, I think. For example, Demi, that YouTuber I just watched, he was interested in a very dark storyline. He liked the Dark Knight trilogy. He liked Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. So the people that really like the dark stuff, if they focus on Damian, that could be a crazy thing. But man, I think Demi pretends to be a good, like really genuinely a great person, and his video is pretending to be nice, but he constantly hold on quick. So yeah, so that whole thing is an interesting thing. I'd want Court of Owls in the film if Damien is Robin. Yeah, that would be interesting too. And part of me want them to make Damien more likable, but the other want me stay character accurate. And that's fair. And I kind of want him to kind of be a balance between them, right? I want Damien to be sort of likable, but also really crazy and like really not really evil, but a very dark character. To me, I think if they, I just saw that one reaction within the stream. I said, there's one guy that said Supergirl movie might do like a dark and light and dark storyline, balancing it out, which I think that could be a possible way to make Damien interesting. Hope his costume is better design. Not a big fan of his comic book design, honestly. Balance. Gotta have some sort of, yeah, I like that balance, and the balance of likability and dislike, you know. In other words, a twisted child. Yeah, a crazy kid, but you like him, but you hate him at the same time. So yeah, that's my thought about that. And one thing I really want them to keep is whenever he's in costume, have him have that furry cape, that big like cape thing that's like really cool, you know, that whole thing. And him being part Asian would be cool too. But yeah. So yeah. And I just want this whole thing to be pretty interesting. Like Demi is like a really toxic individual.
Yes, I will react and break down, sort of, because I don't really do that and I don't know how to do that. Anyway, guess who's coming to Rivals tomorrow? Supergirl! Ah!
Okay, now I'm gonna skip to
That was a short trailer. Okay, so the trailer really didn't show much. Wow, that is Lobo! Oh my god! Okay, yeah, so yeah, they really didn't show much, which is interesting. I mean, I guess they did the same with Superman. See, my thing coming into this movie, because obviously they said what story they're basing this off of, and it sounded like it would be a more faithful adaptation than some other movies. Like,
Yeah. But to me, I think if the movie shows him being troubled, but he experienced consequences, and people see that, that would be a good thing too. And that would be an interesting.
You know, a lot of the MCU movies kind of take like the main elements and make a movie out of it. I don't know. Sometimes they just take the title and make a movie out of it. As of right now, this looks like a very faithful adaptation to the book, which is really interesting. I feel like a lot of times studios want to give a fresh experience to everybody, but like they even showed it at the end of the trailer, like read where it all began. Like you read this book, you're gonna know like 90% of what's going on in the movie. The 10% is Lobo. What is he doing here? I wonder if he's going to be either a contractor. Okay, yeah, because this lady right here is this lady. Her name is like Ruthie, I think. I don't know. Obviously, comics don't have audio, but basically, she's looking for people to help her. So I don't know if she goes to Lobo to help or Lobo is contracted to take down Supergirl by these guys or whatever. I'm assuming this is at the beginning of the movie. She gets into a bar fight at the beginning of the book. I'm not going to spoil the book too much. I think you should all read it. And then this is Krim, I think. Like the main villain. No, he's the main villain. I feel like this movie should be gorgeous because the book itself is gorgeous. The color grading is straight. She's super blue here, super colorful. Okay, well, I'm not too worried because this is a very colorful scene right here. There's some scenes in space that take place in the book that make me really excited, and they visit a lot of different planets. So I really want this movie to look very pretty. Like these scenes look good. These colors pop really well. So that's a good sign. And this is all from that first planet they're on. I don't know. Who's the director of this movie? What movies has this guy made? Yeah, I haven't seen any of his movies. Oh, this is her backstory. Yes, this is Krypton. This is Krypton. Yeah, this movie is going to be really cool.
Properly in the DCU. You think if you could get like MCU Spider-Man level popular? Because I'd be reading reviews they loved it in the comics and animation. Yeah, that's what I agree with that. And subject, it kills me saying that but I'd hate to see backlash for a film like something Batman Returns. Yeah. But I like that Catwoman though.
Cool for multiple reasons. But one of the reasons I'm so excited for this movie is because I think Supergirl is a super underrated character, as it is with like every DC character right now, because, you know, their movies haven't been that good. She's more than just Superman's cousin. You know, like I think a lot of people look at Supergirl and they immediately assume, oh, she's just female Superman, like, right? Like she doesn't really matter. But Supergirl is so much more than that. She was around for Krypton's demise. Like she was a teenager. So seeing your entire planet be destroyed and living to tell the tale, that's got to take a burden. Obviously, I haven't experienced it, right? Earth is still here, but that definitely takes a toll on somebody, I would assume. Yeah, she carries that with her everywhere she goes. And I think that adds so much more to her character already, because Superman comes in to Earth as a child, you know, and he's...
Yeah. And the Catwoman that was black, that was a pretty good one too. Eartha Kitt. Maybe might be Batman, but what'd be cool would be Batman and Son. It'd be titled Batman and Son. So then it would be emphasizing Damian being his son. So it would be Batman and Son, because I think there's a comic book called Batman and Son, and that could boost up the ticket sales, because Batman and Son, and then at the end of what would be kind of cool is they base it on Batman and Son, the comic, but make it Bruce Wayne instead of, I believe it was Dick Grayson and Batman's son, I believe. Not sure. But make it maybe, but I think Brave and the Bold live action TV show might be good, because Brave and the Bold is within the comics a comic book line with multiple like guest stars. So it being a TV show might be good. I was joking because they did the same thing with. Oh yeah. I get that. Yeah, but to me, Batman and Son would be good, because it would be Superman, Supergirl, Batman and Son. You know, and Superman, Supergirl, and Man of Tomorrow, and Batman and Son. But like Clayface would be in between that, but Clayface is just a Clayface, you know. But Batman and Son would be kind of cool, because it'll match the whole Superman, Supergirl, Batman and Son, you know. And then Wonder Woman would be like the Wonder Woman. I think that'd be kind of cool too. Make it the Wonder Woman, son of Batman. Yeah. Son of Batman. I think Son of Batman, it sounds good, but it would. The one negative thing about Son of Batman is it makes it so it sounds like it's only about Damian Wayne. Son of Batman is like, oh, it's Damian Wayne focused, which I think even you said that it should focus also on Batman. So I would say Batman and Son would be good, or if they want to expand even further, it would be Bat Family. You know? Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira. Yeah, that'll be cool too. Yeah, Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira. But like to me, I think they should focus on shorter titles, like short names and stuff. So because to me the problem of Man of Steel was it wasn't called Superman or anything like showing that it would be Superman, because Man of Steel, like only like comic book fans would know Man of Steel, you know? So like they should still have the hero's name in the title, in my opinion. So Wonder Woman would be the Wonder Woman, or Wonder Woman, Princess Diana. Maybe. Or yeah. Wonder Woman, Princess Diana might be, but the Wonder Woman would be cool, and Wonder Woman. Or yeah, I don't know.
Raised on Earth, he is taught to like love everything, blah blah blah. We've all seen the movie, right? But yeah, Superman didn't have that trauma growing up. I mean, Superman had the trauma of being different. You know, he was the only Kryptonian until Kara showed up.
Yeah, came up like that. Yeah. Also, I'm glad DC is finally trying to stop making Batman their Iron Man, like how the DCU tried, because he's not flipping Iron Man. Superman should be the way to start a DC cinematic universe. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Not for us to decide the title unless it's our film. Yeah, I agree, but my whole opinion is it should still have the superhero's name in the title, and it should be shorter and it should be focusing on whatever they're focusing on. So Wonder Woman, life or life love or something, if it's focusing on the life and the love of Earth or something like that, you know. I don't know.
He definitely did have to deal with the last son aspect, like the last of a people, which is challenging, which is very challenging, but I don't know if it's more challenging than seeing everybody you know and love die. Okay, another thing I wanted to mention was Supergirl is kind of in the same boat as Superman in terms of being an outsider, but I think Supergirl would probably have it worse because she did have to restart. She had to start over completely. If anybody has ever moved, I would relate it to that, but in Supergirl's case, it's like 100 times worse. She had to move to an entirely new planet with an entirely new group of people, species, whatever you want to call it, a new lifestyle completely, whereas Clark was raised in it, you know? Like when Supergirl gets here, all she has is Clark to help her lead the way, and Clark at this point is super.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They holding back on Batman films because Superman, of course, he had a lot of films, but 4 of them are from the same actor, and 2 of them sucked. So
Superman, you know, he is an iconic figure among our society. So I'm sure she feels like she has to meet that standard in some sort of way. And the way her life has been, it's not easy for her to do that. Like I mentioned, she was around as Krypton was being destroyed. She had to say goodbye to her parents, her friends, her.
I like Batman too. He's my favorite superhero of all time, but let others take the stage. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Life, her entire state of living just got ripped from underneath her, and she had to hard reset. You know, she definitely feels some type of survivor's guilt in the.
And my issue of some stuff is there's this one Snyder fan that said, actually, I think it was Sean O'Rourke. Yeah, Sean O'Rourke. He said that. Zack Snyder knew his middle name. Well, no, he didn't, because other people wrote the script. He only directed it. So Superman middle name wasn't from Zack Snyder. It was from the writers. And James Gunn not knowing his middle name is because his Superman's middle name never comes up that often, you know. So Superman's middle name is not like a big issue. But yeah, that's it. It's pretty crazy, I'd say, overall. But yeah. And I'm just putting this one in there because I'm wearing the shirt. Same exact picture. Same exact thing as the shirt I'm wearing right now. Same thing. The Creature Commandos. But yeah. Man, that's kind of how it is right there. And of course, this was a time before they changed the logo right there. To an argument with the Snyder Cult the other day, talking about, I'm not interested in guns, Brainiac, but if it was that would be terrifying. That showing your support of the new DCU. Yeah. And from this right here is that Snyder fan, that Snyder Cult guy. He said, but if it was a Zack Snyder, that would be terrifying. My issue about that is Brainiac. The crazy thing about Brainiac is he is scary and terrifying without trying to be scary and terrifying. Like he is scary because of what he can do versus what he looks like. because when you look at Brainiac, he's not like a scary person. Like pretty much any iteration, animation, and whatever, he looks cool. I give him that, but he's not scary physically, you know. And the whole thing is people think if Zack Snyder did it, he would make him creepy looking. But yeah, showing your support. Yeah, thoughts. Sure, Zach don't even know who Brainiac is. Yeah, the thing is, he might just know the name because the name of Brainiac is like very popular overall, but he only cares about the Dark Knight Returns storyline. Like in almost every interview, he talks about Dark Knight Returns, and he thinks that Batman killed that guy, but it was no proof he killed him. And at the end of that comic, Joker says, I will die and have everyone think that you killed, you know. And if he did kill that guy, that line wouldn't work because he already killed. So what's the point with Joker saying that, threatening Batman of making everyone think he killed, even though he killed, you know? So that's my issue right there. If Crypto was Man of Steel, they had praised the idea of being used. Heck, Snyder's Crypto probably Bulldog like the movie Axel. But I'm not sure if it's completely true or not, but I think Zack Snyder said that Crypto died, like his parents killed him, which doesn't make sense to me because Crypto's a Kryptonian dog, and I can probably look up what's going on with that. Did Zack Snyder say his Crypto died? Okay. Okay, let's show. Wait, hold on. Okay, it wouldn't be a cute and cuddly dog like Gunn, yeah. I kind of hope Brainiac and the Snyder fan never gonna have Crypto. That's BS lies by Gun haters. Yeah, but look at this.
With Superman, there is a lot of love for Crypto, the Superdog. A lot of people know Crypto as he's been a mainstay with Superman for quite a long time. So jumping in on all the hype surrounding Crypto, Zack Snyder wanted to share that, yes, he actually...
I love Brainiac to face Superman, Supergirl, or both. Me. Yeah. But like I believe they sort of confirmed that Brainiac's gonna show up in Man of Tomorrow, so it'd be Superman and Lex Luthor versus Brainiac. But I think Brainiac is not gonna die in that one. He's just gonna continue from
includes
there.
Crypto in Man of Steel, just not the way you think, because he reveals that Jonathan Kent put him down to teach Clark a lesson. I fucking can't anymore. This is one of those pieces of info you just kind of keep to yourself instead of trying to remind people that your universe exists and that people have largely now moved on. I've actually seen people who were constantly doing every laugh react to everything posted Superman now constantly post about Superman because they've become fans, almost like they were indoctrinated into the cult. Well, Zack Snyder wanted to talk about Crypto because he's seen so much love for the dog. So here's what he said, and I quote, "Oh, Crypto, man. I love Crypto. Little known fact is we actually included Crypto in Man of Steel. There's a small gravestone that you can see in Clark's backyard during his childhood sequence. And the idea was that Crypto was a normal earthbound puppy that Jonathan Kent put down in order to teach Clark about the fragility of family. Just a bit of background lore for you."
Wow.
End quote. Oof. God damn it. I don't know what more I can say about this iteration of Superman. How much I despise every single thing that's ever come out about it, every decision-making process choice, every single thing that happened with its inception from start to finish. Like, it's a little known fact, but do you guys know why Zack Snyder was hired after making the failure film Immortal or Immortals? Is that what it was called? Starring Henry Cavill? I can't remember. You know why he was hired? They wanted to get Superman off the ground as quick as possible because at the time, the deadline and them potentially losing Superman was the month after release, and they were in a huge legal battle with the Schuster and Siegel estates, and they had a script that was incomplete, and they said, hire Zack Snyder, give him a few weeks because he's not going to challenge anybody, and we just need somebody that can get this thing out on time, let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
This is the end result.
So Jonathan would kill a dog in Snyder film. I can't imagine the copy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It seems like the Snyder fans didn't hear this quote or doesn't care about the quote and stuff
Somebody
like
that just missed the point. You know how Clark learns about the fragile nature of humanity in almost every version? It's when he can stop anything and everything except his dad's heart attack. Why, in the love of everything Superman, would you be like, yeah, you know how he learned a lesson about how fragile life is? Yeah, his dad who tells him, yeah, maybe you should let those kids die because screw it. Yeah, his loving dad decided to put down the dog in the backyard. What a hack of a fucking director. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will. And if you're so inclined and would like...
Yeah, so that's what I pointed out right there. Zack Snyder killed off Crypto, and Crypto was not a Kryptonian dog. He was a regular Earth dog. Doesn't make sense. And plus, he started the conversation by saying he loves Crypto, but he killed off Crypto. I don't know. It's like the dumbest thing ever. Amy Adams was asked by Snyder to be topless in the bathroom scene, so I understand the call being upset over that. Yeah, I wonder how Tyrone Magnus would react to that, seeing as he didn't like. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I just think it's a little messed up. I don't want to force anyone to like comment or anything, but I think I see 5 people in there, but so far only 2 people are commenting. And I think some people, there's this one person that said that one person didn't comment because they were watching me on the TV and they can't comment through that or whatever. But I don't know, because they've never seen bad things. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tyrone, I don't know. Demi is, I think, one of the worst. Because Demi pretends that people that like James Gunn are bots, and pretends that there's nobody that likes James Gunn at all and everything, and pretends that people are being paid to watch James Gunn stuff like that. This is very dumb, very, very dumb. Very dumb. I mean, thought-provoking and stuff, whereas like he even said that he was like 14 when Man of Steel came out. I don't know. So yeah, this is really dumb. She refused. It was having so there's no scene. Oh, okay, yeah, and yeah, I respect her wishes though. Yeah.
Trailer described the footage as unreal. It's been very, very good, and has a very similar tone to HBO's Watchmen. Cinematography was compared to that of Mare of Easttown, True Detective Season 2. Some of the most exciting bits of news revolve around Hal Jordan's suit. Color scheme of his suit is the classic green, black, and white with hints of gold, like his ring
Yeah.
we saw on the dashboard in the teaser trailer. The bits of yellow could definitely be referencing to his Parallax arc, in which
So yeah. So what else? What else is there? Anyone want to chime in?
Sweetest. I got
And
to work a
then
lot
the
with Eddie.
cameras
and
roll,
he's-
and you guys got that mask on. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. It's just like doesn't move his face, doesn't move his. It's just like the epitome of cool and control.
In fairness, I think he couldn't move his face with that tee on.
I don't think so. I had some very animated conversations with him. I think he's just a fantastic actor. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
What character, not including your own, did you fall in love with or like more after seeing this movie?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific.
Mr.
Damn,
Terrific.
goddamn Mr. Terrific.
God, he's
My
the best.
Gosh, I'm
Eddie
so
Gathegi.
annoyed with him for being so cool and so good in this movie.
I can't wait for people to see Eddie Gathegi in this movie. He's an absolute revelation, which is no surprise.
I mean, he is Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, boy, is he.
In person, he's like a cool, normal
No, he's
guy.
the warmest, sweetest. I got
And
to work a
then
lot
the
with Eddie.
cameras
and
roll,
he's-
and you guys got that mask on. I'm goddamn.
Yeah. So that, yeah, this is. Okay. What's Harsh Critic gonna do about his big forehead? I asked. In respect to his comments about it. Yeah, and man, these people are getting worse and worse. Yeah. Tywin Skyberg still hasn't apologized to me by for him saying my full name. You know, Tywin Skyberg thinks he's completely fine, but yeah, Tywin Skyberg's like, I don't know, say. But overall, it's a good, pretty fun stream. But yeah, this is pretty crazy. But overall, this is towards the end, so I'm gonna put these up there just towards the end. Just, you know, QR code right there for buy me a coffee. Want to support whatever, and want to support, you can feel free to go to buymeacoffee.com/JohnnyDome, scan the code and whatever, and there is that. That's my plug. Like the dude says, she's ugly. Amy Adams is way hotter or some shit like that. Amy Adams, why was she still a redhead? Couldn't she have dyed her hair or wear a wig or something? But y'all, gotta go. Good stream, Johnny Dome. Nice to meet you, sub. Yep. Have a good night, critic. And yeah, this is towards the end of the stream, and I'm just gonna put this there, and yeah. So this is self-promotion, whatever. You can scan that, pay that, whatever. I'm only saying this because this is going to turn into a video, so anyone, whatever, there's it. You too. All right, cool stream, Johnny. Yep, so see you later. This is the end, and have a good one, everybody. And I see there's possibly still more people, but this is the end of the stream. Have a good one. Goodbye. See you later. End of the stream. Bye.